Hi team, and welcome back to another episode of the Coach Pete podcast. So today I'm going to talk about my favourite subject, strength training. So I decided what I'd like to do is try and convert as many people as possible to the benefits of strength training. So I'm not really going to get into any detail about the training aspect of it, how to program it, how to perform exercises. I'm really looking at all the fantastic benefits that you could possibly get from following a strength training program. Now, obvious one is you'll get stronger. Being stronger is going to make daily tasks a lot easier. So if you're thinking of things like your grocery shopping, moving house, doing your gardening, doing random DIY tasks, those things are going to be easier if you're stronger. So you have an improved work capacity. If you play sports, if you're an athlete, your athletic performance is likely going to improve as well. So we're looking at an increased production of speed, increased power output, and possibly even increased performance as well. So strength exercise will really lay the foundation and give you the base in which to build those other components like speed, explosiveness, and endurance from. So that is benefit number one there. Benefit number two is it will improve your body composition. So having muscle on your frame is going to boost your metabolism. So one mod that will happen is that muscle is metabolically demanding. It means that your body has to expel energy just to retain muscle. So versus body fat, which your body really doesn't have to waste much energy to hang fat from your frame. So in essence, having more muscle on your frame requires your body to burn more calories at rest. So you could be burning body fat as you sleep. Another benefit with that is that it will really ramp up your metabolism when you exercise. So people with a little bit more muscle on their frames will get an increased metabolic response through exercise. It's so profound that if your exercise is intense enough, you could increase your metabolic rate for as long as 72 hours after exercise. And again, that's pretty phenomenal. So that'll be 72 hours where your body is essentially burning more energy than it would had you not exercised or had you not gained that muscle in the first instance. And as a side note, you're unlikely to get the same benefit through cardiovascular exercise. You certainly won't get it from low-level endurance activities, things like jogging. But you may get it if you're doing like hard-out sprints. But again, that's essentially kind of veering into the strength spectrum of the exercise anyway. So benefit number three, you may get a decrease in abdominal fat. So visceral fat, and that is the fat which is stored around your waist. That's associated with an increased risk of disease, particularly things like heart disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, certain diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer. So lots of nasty things in there. So if you're able to minimise your risk of that, I'd say that would be well worth doing. And multiple studies have shown that strength training can help reduce abdominal fat as well as overall body fat. So the next benefit we are looking at is it will help you look leaner. So as you build muscle, you're going to appear leaner. So you may find that pound for pound on the scales, you could weigh the same. But if you train to build muscle, now muscle is much denser than body fat, so pound for pound, it will take up less space on your frame. So you might actually end up with more muscle, weighing the same, but looking leaner versus someone who could weigh the same and has a bit more fat versus muscle. So therefore, you could reduce your waist size whilst maintaining your weight. So I guess it's true what they say, don't go by the scales, go by how you look and go by your body composition rather than just numbers on the scales. Next benefit, it will decrease your risk of falls. So being stronger will likely lead to improved balance, improved coordination, and improved reaction times. And all of those things will work towards you being a little bit more robust and less likely to fall. If you do trip, you'll be more likely to catch yourself and not fall. So you could be looking at as much as a 30% reduction in falls by being stronger. And the types of strength training you would need to do to gain those benefits, they don't need to be anything extreme. It could be something as low key as doing Tai Chi. It could be nice low level weight bearing exercise at the gym. You could be using things like bands or even just body weight. And the time commitment you need to put in to get those benefits wouldn't be much either. You could get significant improvement by doing 2 30-minute strength sessions a week. And I reckon that's pretty awesome. And let's be honest, that's pretty attainable for most people. Next benefit, we're looking at a reduced risk of injury. So, strength training, oddly enough, can improve your mobility and your range of movement through your joints. In turn, that is going to increase the strength of your connective tissue, your ligaments and tendons. So the joints themselves will become stronger, they'll become more robust. So we're looking at all your major joints, so we're thinking things like knees, hips, ankles, shoulders, etc. They're all going to get more robust and be less likely to pick up an injury. So I guess there is a bit of a common misconception which I've heard over the years along the lines that things like squats is bad for your knees, and I've actually had people say to me, I can't squat because I've got bad knees. But my argument would be you should squat because you have bad knees. It will make your knees and your hips and all the joints around that a lot stronger. Another benefit tied in with that, with the injury side of things, is it will improve muscular imbalances. So by having a stronger core, by having stronger hamstrings and glutes, it's probably likely that you'll take a lot of the stress away from your lower back and thereby reduce risks of injury to your lower back. Another side kind of note here is that strength training, if done correctly, it is safe for young athletes and teenagers as well, and it's definitely been associated with a reduced chance of injury in younger athletes. In fact, some studies have projected that for every 10% increase in strength, you could expect a 4% reduction in risk of injury. That's pretty awesome again, so another reason to get stronger. Okay, next benefit, again, this might surprise some people. It will improve your heart health. So we're looking at weight bearing or strength training exercise can reduce blood pressure. It can lower total and LDL cholesterol. So again, I'm not getting into big detail here, but LDL is a bad cholesterol, and having a high overall cholesterol level is maybe not such a good thing if the ratios swing towards the LDL cholesterol. Cholesterol itself is linked with heart disease and various kind of heart issues. It will improve circulation. So again, by using those muscles, by doing your exercise through them, doing your movements, you'll encourage more blood vessels to be developed, more capillaries, so you get a better circulation network to transport oxygen and move waste products through the body. It will strengthen your big blood vessels, your arteries, your veins, help keeping them elastic, and that will reduce any kind of negative effects with it hardening of the arteries associated with high blood pressure and sometimes high cholesterol as well. So there you go, it could lead to a stronger heart and a better circulatory system. Another benefit here we spoke about briefly earlier there, it will help maintain a healthy body weight, and as you know, a healthy body weight is going to help reduce your incidence of heart disease, and it can also help manage blood sugar levels. I'll touch on that a little bit further into the podcast, but having high blood sugar is a major risk factor for disease, particularly type 2 diabetes, and that is not something you want to develop in later life if you can help it. So we'll pick into that in a little bit more detail. So it will help manage blood sugar levels, and it would definitely help reduce your risk of diabetes, particularly type 2, and it would help manage diabetes in general. So how does it do that? Well, skeletal muscle, and that is the muscles you work for your strength exercises, as you get them stronger, they would become more sensitive to insulin. That means your body will manage sugar in your bloodstream much more effectively, and the insulin is more likely to do its job of grabbing onto the blood sugar in your bloodstream and transporting that into your working muscles to be used as fuel rather than letting it circulate, causing damage inside your body. And that glucose will be taken into muscle cells. You will also get likely to get greater muscle mass by exercising and developing your muscles, so that again, the more muscle on your system, the greater that effect is in terms of insulin sensitivity and managing blood sugar. And it could actually help reduce your risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the first instance. In fact, multiple studies have shown there's up to a 30% reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes if you're strength training regular and doing it safely. Okay, so another benefit here, we touched on it briefly, is that strength training can promote greater mobility and flexibility. Yep, you heard it here. So strength training will not make you muscle bound. In fact, quite the opposite. Strength training can make you more flexible. It will increase your joint range of movement, and that's going to allow for greater mobility and flexibility. In fact, side note, weak muscles tend to be have less range of movement. So there you go. Strong muscles tend to have greater mobility than weak muscles. Now, for best results here, you want to utilise full range of movement in all exercises. So for example, something like a squat, you want to load up and squat to depth as if possible. So again, I do sometimes see people in the gym do things like squats or various other exercises, and they tend to shy away from doing full range of movement. If you do that, you're not going to reap those benefits of greater mobility and flexibility. So highly recommend just work the full range of movement, work your movement potential around the joints to reap those benefits. Another benefit, which is quite a profound one, stronger bones. So again, all weight bearing exercise is essential for bone development. When you temporarily put stress on your bones, your brain will then send signals to your bones to help develop stronger, denser bones. It's essentially you're giving your body the signals to develop the bones to become stronger and denser. That is going to be associated with a reduced risk of osteoporosis, fractures and falls, particularly as we age. So again, mentioned briefly that as you get older, there's a higher incidence of tripping and falling, and quite often that can be tied in with things like hip fractures. So as you get older, there is a risk that you might fall. If your bones are fragile and weak, they're more likely to break, and you can offset both of them by being stronger. Sounds easy, but again, you don't need to put a lot of time into it. We could be getting some awesome benefits by 2 30-minute sessions per week. Another side note here, these benefits can be attained at any age. So again, if you're an older person and you think, oh, I'm past it, I'm not going to get any improvement here, you're wrong. You can start strength training at any age. I've seen people in their 80s benefit from this. In fact, my granddad back in Scotland, he's in his 90s, and up until COVID he was still going to the gym and he was maintaining a really good standard of the health, and partly I would attribute that to his strength. Another benefit here, which is pretty awesome I reckon, is that it will improve your cognitive health. So there's been lots of evidence in the last couple of years pointing to improvements of brain function. It could protect against age-related cognitive decline. Again, multiple studies have been pointing to significant improvements in cognitive function, and we're looking at things like your ability to process information, your ability to remember information, and make quick decisions at kind of high executive function. These things can all be improved by being stronger. And it's spot that resistance training it has many neuroprotective resistance training has many neuroprotective effects, such as it's going to encourage blood flow to your brain and will help reduce inflammation. And when you're doing your strength exercise, it will help increase neuroplasticity. So that is the development of more neural pathways in your brain. And one of the ways it does that is you've got a better management of neurochemicals in your brain. So things like serotonin and dopamine and all those endorphin enhancing chemicals, they're going to help keep your brain sharp as you age. And if I'd say that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I these days continue to strength training. It used to be that I wanted, as I mentioned earlier, to look like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but don't think I'm going to quite attain that. However, I have noticed it's kept me mentally sharp, so I'm quite thankful for that. Another benefit, and again this is the last benefit I'm going to talk about here, is it will just promote a better quality of life. You'll get more out of life if you're stronger. It's particularly as you age. Lots of studies have been linked to strength training to helping increase physical and mental well-being. So not only will you be physically more capable and mentally more capable to do things, but you'll be able to enjoy activities much longer into your later years. So age will become much less of a barrier to stop you from doing things. And there's a significant correlation between resistance training, better mental health, better physical function, better pain management, better general health, and overall improved vitality. And it might even make you live a little bit longer. So team, that's a lot of benefits there. I realise I've spoke very quickly there. I tend to do that when I get passionate about a subject, so hopefully you were able to absorb lots of that, and I'd like to think that I've converted you a little bit to my way of thinking that strength training is pretty damn awesome. So team, I will be back again within the next week or two. Episode 3, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about yet, so it'll be a bit of a surprise for you. But if you have made it to the end of this, I thank you very much for taking the time to listen, and I would be super duper appreciative if you could share this to your friends, your colleagues, put the word out that Coach Pete is speaking some good things about physical, mental performance here and how to attain it. And as always, depending where you got this, give it a like, that'd be awesome as well. So team, until next time, stay safe, bye.